Welcome back from that break, and this is Political Arena. My name is Abubakar Traki. Since the dawn of Nigeria's Fourth Republic, many political parties have struggled to define a clear ideological identity, often prioritizing personality, regional loyalty, and short-term electoral gain over a coherent policy platform. This has contributed to a political landscape where parties' affiliation is fluid and voters frequently make choice based on individual candidate rather than party principle. I will be having this discussion with my guest, Charles Doke. Charles, welcome to Political Arena.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So, as a public analyst, since the return of democracy in 1999 to then, many political parties lack coherent ideology. If you look at the First Republic political parties, the Second Republic, and the aborted Third Republic political parties, the likes of NEPU, the likes of Jam'iyyar Mutanen Arewa, and the likes of Action Group, and many more, and NCNs, most of them have internal party ideology and political ideology. Why do we have a drug in the Fourth Republic?
Well, in between those parties that you've had, first, second, aborted third, and all that, there's always been a prolonged presence of the military. So you definitely are able to see that it's like a generation apart. If you're going to look at the time that President Babangida was in power, it was a long time. And when it came back to democracy, it didn't take another, did it even come back? And then before you know it, Abacha was there for a long time. So they're like generations actually apart. And then, of course, from 1999 is when we can sit down and say, okay, we now have a nascent democracy that has birthed the kind of power parties that we have never had any truncation and continuity from that time up to this moment. So from 1999 to 2006, barely 17 years, yeah.
Okay. Internal party conflict is inevitable.
Yeah.
And these days, we have experienced internal conflict from the strongest opposition party in Nigeria. Before it was PDP. Before it was PDP, yes. And now it is ADC. But from all indication, based on reports and based on what we see, the ADC is like an internal party democracy. In your own opinion, what led to this internal party democracy?
Well, the symptoms have always been there. The ADC is just a classical representation or example of political parties that are everywhere in Nigeria. There are lots and lots of political parties. And except you're not brought to the limelight, the symptoms of these same problems are always there. One party that I know had managed its own internal wranglings at the initial time because they wanted to take over power was the APC. You remember it was not more than a year that the APC came together with CPC, with ANPP and all that. They put themselves together and they were able to wrestle power from from the PDP. They were able to manage that very well. But of course, even they themselves presently, they have lots of problems. That's why you have the issues of them. El-Rufai is going out of the party. You have people, the party walls are now very fluid. People move in and out depending on what their whims and caprices. And I tell you, it's all about their own interests. So the reason why you have, everyone was clapping and applauding that, okay, the ADC is a new opposition. But if you sit down and look at it, the ADC was just the same with other smaller parties, the APGAs, the PRPs of this world, the SDPs. This is the same kind of thing. It's just that when some of these disgruntled politicians, as it were, are not happy with where they're coming from, or their parties have been rendered useless, let me use that particular word, or a shadow of itself like the PDP has become, they definitely have to go somewhere to be able to now find a home from where they can now start fighting their political battles. It's just like the snake does not know how to dig a hole, but then it goes and looks for the rat that has already dug a hole, chases the rat out, and then enters that hole. There's no form of democracy that's that way. And because it is coming, they are coming in their numbers with their big names and everything. The people that have held that party for all this while when it was registered, they have to cower because of these big names. So when they come and approach them, yes, we want the party to blow in the Nigerian parlance, but once they come in, they want to change a lot of things. If you have the likes of David Mark, the likes of Aregbesola, the likes of Atiku Abubakar, you have the likes of Kwankwaso, you have the likes of Peter Obi, all coming under one platform. And you think somebody is going to remember that there's someone called Nafiu Bala? In that, have you heard of Nafiu Bala before?
He's also parading himself as the legal chairman of the ADC.
Yes, those are the kind of squabbles that would come out from lack of internal democracy. Because one, yes, it's understandable these big wigs have come in. So when they come, there are always negotiations. That is what happens in parties. Okay, you were national chairman of the ADC. Now, we are now trying to make sure that we have some big heavyweights that will be able to, if you say ADC, you'll be like, oh, David Mark. David Mark was a brigadier general in the army. He was a Senate president for all this while. So it's a big name. You know, let it be that this person is the chairman of our party.
So you're trying to tell me that politics is all about, you have to know how to play your card.
Definitely. So in doing that, you're like, okay, let us just agree. You will now go back to become vice chairman Northeast. Do you understand? Okay. Yes, he's from Gombe. So no problem, I agree. So you can just let's run these things and let me be able to do that. And then in the end, you heard on Easter Day, when one of the former senators from Adamawa went live on Facebook to say this is the problem that the APC had, and that is why the person that they thought was a small boy is now coming back to haunt them. So they had that gentleman agreement. But all of a sudden, when it was time to now be able to allot those positions, they said, this guy, we agreed that he was going to take national vice chairman, Northeast. And then who was there? The former SGF said, no, you're going to represent us from the Northeast when we have the likes of Atiku Abubakar, former vice president, the likes of me, that I was the former secretary to the government of the federation. No, you cannot be my chairman or the vice chairman representing.
The discussion is becoming interesting.
It is.
So we should not dwell much into that. On the aspect of, still on the Fourth Republic and the internal party democracy, you know, when you say politics, godfatherism and money politics has been playing shall I say a vital role? We had been shaping our political, it has been shaping the narrative in the political terrain.
Yeah.
So what can you say about godfatherism and money politics as 2027 is approaching?
You can never take that one away.
Why?
Because that's the kind of democracy that we practice in this country. And I dare to say that it's a different kind of democracy from anywhere in the world. Somehow we've been able to now whip up our own definition of democracy. And you cannot take away godfatherism, you cannot take away the issue of money politics. You cannot take that. Even the government knows that once the election comes, you see the kind of money that has been set aside for government, for INEC, and then of course for the judiciary. So it's a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to do politics, especially in Nigeria. You have to have an economic war chest to be able to do that. If you don't do that,
when
nobody sees you.
You made me remind something. You know, there's a politics between successor and predecessor.
Yeah.
Take Kaduna as an example. What happened between former governor Ubasani and Malanas?
Yes.
Take Kano as an example. Kwankwaso and Ganduji.
Yes. And Ganduji. And then of course and Abba too.
Take Gombe as an example. Ibrahim Hassan Donkombo and Danjuma Goji.
Exactly. Yeah.
So why do we get it wrong? I believe, as a godfather to any politician, like, it sounds somehow interesting, and most of the African politics, why do we get it wrong?
Okay, the biggest factor of why we get it wrong is interest. Interest.
Which is unavoidable.
Exactly, it's interest. And of course, I don't see that just interest is overvolting interest. Just like you have overvolting ambition. So you have overvolting interest. You could have interest, but if your interest is bigger than what ordinarily it should be. I'm leaving all your examples. I'm taking the example of Rivers, where, of course, we know what happened. Exactly. So if I am your godfather politically, and I've been able to pave way to say, okay, this is the person I've anointed as my candidate, that should be the person that will take over from me, that will make sure that he continues with all the things I have done. All my legacies are protected with this person. And then you now, power is a terrible thing. You step out and then you start feeling sick because you're no longer that person that you used to be for 8 years. So sometimes you have that temptation as a human being, and as gullible as politicians can be, to want to still control a lot of what happens in that particular state, forgetting that power is transient. You've already moved it to another person. So let me just turn and face my business. Let that guy also face his business. But the moment you want to meddle in the things that that person does, it will get to a time, even a goat, if you push it to the wall, it would bite. So that's what happens.
Don't you think that, still on this godfatherism aspect, I believe between former Governor Masari and incumbent Governor Diko,
yes,
I think there's a little synergy between them.
Yeah.
So, like, do you think that Governor Masari made the right choice by putting Governor Diko there? And taking Borno State as an example, still there's a cordial relationship between the incumbent governor, Governor Zulum, and the vice president.
Yes. Okay, well, you see, in everything that happens, there are always exceptions. And these are just a few exceptions. So if you're sitting down to look at, let's say, 10 cases where you have a political godfather and a godson, and then the godson taking over from him, and they have squabbles, and then you find out that 7 out of 10, you have these issues like you have the wikis and you have the gandujes, and then that's to tell you that most times it doesn't end well. So those, for Rada, and that one for Baba Gana Zulum, they are exceptional cases. Exceptional cases because most probably those godfathers, as it were, actually went and decided to leave these guys to face. There was no meddling in what they were doing. Masari is an old man. He has been a speaker. He has seen it all. He has done 8 years. I mean, him leaving the government house was actually time for him to rest. So he's not going to go there to start meddling in issues that the young man has all the blood and whatever it is for him to be able to do. Looking at Baba Gana Zulum, this man has already done his 8 years. He came here as a senator. And as a senator, he was also gunning. He's now the vice president. I mean, I have my everything set out before me to do. I won't be there trying to meddle in what happens in Borno.
During President Muhammadu Buhari, when he was in power, he signed Not Too Young to Run. And it has been called the yearning and aspiration from young Nigerians. Yes. Do you think, in a nutshell, 2027, Nigerian youth will make any difference?
It's going to be difficult to say because very difficult to say because of 2 factors. Are the older generation, are they ready to give way? They are not.
But sometimes power is not given on a platter of gold.
Of course, it's not given on a platter of gold, but which young person is ready to take it? Whether on a silver platter or on a wooden platter, nobody is ready or wanting to be able to take it. The youth have already, because of money politics, and of course because they have that mind of, let me sit down and just bear with these people because somehow, maybe someday I'll be able to now, it will be my turn and I'm going to make the money like they're making. So because of that, they don't want to shift anything. They just want things to appear the way they are.
This conversation is actually interesting, but Charles, we have to draw the conclusion of this show.
Sure.
And, see you in our next.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And that is all we have on Political Arena. Stay with us for our S24 Day commentary.